What's up guys? In today's video I'm going to show you how we turn this into this. Alrighty, let's jump right into this one. Again, this is a canik TP9 SFX with a Streamlight TLR1. I already got my 5 layers of tape on each side. That is to protect the finish of the actual gun. Okay. That's good. Got all my blocking laid out, so it's ready to be used. This particular holster is going to have a level 2 hood. It's going to be outside the pant. And first off, we got to start by blocking the light out. Got these widgets here. These make this job much easier. Matter of fact, I don't really know how you do it without them. Could probably do it with wooden dowels if you carve them out, but this makes it so much easier. Next thing I like to do is get the blocking up. Now this blocking isn't quite tall enough to clear this tightening screw all the way, so I'm actually going to add a little bit of blocking here. Just makes it stand a little bit taller. That's all I really need. It's good to tape everything. You don't want it moving under your blocking and then it not do its job. I don't remember where that slide control is. We gotta block that too, so I'm gonna mark this right here. What I do with my molds is I shave down all the controls, so that way I know to block it, and it's easier to block it that way as well. So marking that there, just so we know about where it starts. Now again, the blocking here does get a little weird because it sits up, the frame sits up higher than the slide, so we got to make sure that the blocking isn't going to sit all cockeyed, otherwise it'll be a bad fitting holster. We don't want that. Okay, I'm going to call that good, I believe. And I'm going to add this as well because it does sit up a little taller. But what I'm going to do is tape that individually so we know it stays put. Again, we don't want that moving under our blocking. This is going to be foam pressed, so it can move on you as you're putting it in your foam. So we want to make sure everything is rock solid as we tape it. Okay, now we need to block for this. I got this steel piece, or aluminum piece that I have pre-cut here. I think I want it about there. But the only thing I'm questioning right now is this has the ability to have a red dot. Now this particular order does not state that it has a red dot, but I would rather it be accepting of it in the future. So I'm just trying to think of a way that I can block this so he still has that open cut. Huh. I don't want to go super low with this because then it's going to be pointless to even have it, because you want that strap to cover the slide. That's what gives it that level 2 retention. Alright, I think I got it, guys. We're going to use this wooden dowel. What that will do is that'll help strengthen this area up here, because this level 2 retention does cause a little bit of a flex in the KYDEX. So that'll also help stiffen this area up over here. And it'll give me a cut line right along that, so that way I can cut out for that red dot, because that runs right about here. It should be perfect. So we're going to tape that in place. Give it one more over here just for good measure. Okay, and then I want to put this just low enough, about there I'm thinking, because we also have to make room for the KYDEX to come up so you can actually get a good grip on the gun. So that sweat shield's going to come up right along the edge of that. It's going to be close, but it's what we're working with. Across. Again, I don't want this moving. If this moves as I set it in the foam press, and I don't know until I take it out 10 minutes later, that sucks. So then you gotta do this all over again. You wanna make sure it all stays put. So we have that down where we want it. This is gonna come around just like that. I'm gonna mark right where that is. Okay. Now we're going to use this blocking right here for that. Although I think I want this down further, so we're going to have to do a little more blocking. Something right here with the wood. Let's see. The reason I'm using the pencil as I'm setting the tape down is I don't want there to be a straight, I want a 90-degree angle right on that tape angle with the blocking here, because you don't want to go down, you don't want to create tenting. It'll just doesn't look as nice. And we want this to be a nice holster. Customer paid money for it. So also keep in mind, if you are considering building something like this, I would honestly recommend doing a few easier jobs. For one, the light makes things much harder to deal with. You have to get really nice light widgets. Even then, you have to have a really nice foam press. Preferably you want to do everything vacuum. I don't have this in a vacuum mold. But that's okay, because I got the foam molds, I have the light, and I have a nice foam press. So we can get this done, make it look like a nice holster. Make it a nice holster. So that side looks good. Yeah, if you want to do something like this yourself, I would definitely recommend, you know, like some basic inside the waistband holsters, no lights. Get that down first, and then merge over to something that has a light on it. Alright, you know what, we didn't finish this side. still got to add this guy. Now this is definitely going to require some more blocking. As you can see, we don't want that to sit all cockeyed like that. We want that to be nice and flush. And it's definitely not. And we kind of want it close to the same height as this. We don't have to. We can always add rubber bushings when we put our paddle on here. But we're going to try to get it close. Let's see what I have here. That's not quite it. It's a little taller, but I could actually add something like this piece of wood here. These are basically just popsicle sticks, but they're actually not. They are paint mixing sticks you get at Lowe's or Home Depot, I'm sure. I'm sure they have them too. Now this is an ugly piece of blocking, but that's okay because it's going to be under the blocking for our paddle. So don't be afraid to use something ugly as long as you can hide it. That's looking better. I think we'll just run with that. I'm not sure if I should add blocking to the other side. Might not have to. But I got that piece, it's perfect, so we will. Okay, so I want all this to stay. Nothing too crazy, not a whole lot of tape, just enough to make it stay. All right. Okay. That looks good. It's about the same height. Doesn't have to be on the dot.
Let's run with that. Tape the blocking here in place.
When it comes to the hardware blocking, like for this paddle or the belt attachment, I like to give it extra tape because that's pretty crucial. You don't want that moving on you. Again, it really sucks to do this all over again. Ask me how I know. All right, that's not moving. That looks good. So this side is done. It's perfect. At least I think it's perfect, but we will find out. Unfortunately, you don't really know until you put it in the foam press and wait 8 to 10 minutes, and then when you take it out and you're like, crap, did something wrong. But I've done this enough times where I've kind of figured out a good way to get them done, get them right the first time. And then the retention on this TLR1 light is going to be here and here. We're going to focus on this one. I think it's a more solid retention point. You can use this one, but I like this one. And you can kind of do both. We'll leave both, and we can always heat up one area if it's too tight. Then add this. Now we want to scoot this back just a hair, because the KYDEX needs a recess inside this little hole here. That way it has something to retain to. Now we don't want to leave a gaping hole like that because then it's going to be way too much. So we want to have just enough to where it grabs the lip of that body of the light right there. Matter of fact, I can probably do a little bit less, kind of something like that. And then last thing before we put it in the press is the retention plate. This is just 1/4 inch MDF. I cut it out to match the outline of this. So I'm gonna get that taped on. I'm gonna put it in the foam press. Of course, I gotta heat the KYDEX. We're doing this out of black carbon fiber. I have my t-shirt press set at 380 degrees for 85 seconds. Take it out, put it in the press, and then I will see you guys then. Back hot out the press. This came out perfect. Look at that definition. Yep, retention point looks good. Came around the edges real nice. Yeah, I'm happy with it. So let's get this thing out. Isn't always easy, but you know what? It cooperated with me this time. Okay, now all of our hard work must come off. So just start ripping off. That's the nice thing about having molds is you can just be rough with it. Use a razor if you wanted. You don't have to worry about scratching it. Alright, so let's get this thing cut out. What I'm going to do now is trace it. Well, trace where I want to cut. I like to do the back side first, because once you cut that, it's going to match the front, and then you'll have to make some other adjustments with the front, but you can just do that with your snips here. So, start on the back, grab my pencil, line it up. I have little markings on all my molds to know where to cut. Right about there. Another thing you want to do with these light bearing holsters, you want to trace the trigger guard. You don't want to just blindly cut, because you might cut all this out and then you have a bunch of your trigger guard exposed, and that's not safe. We don't want that. I like safe holsters. I don't know about you guys, but I don't feel like shooting myself. So, which shouldn't happen, you know, with good trigger control, but some debris, a shirt, or something might get caught in there. So we want to make sure that we cover as much of that trigger as we possibly can. It's not always possible with light bearing holsters. I mean, there's going to be a little bit of exposure, but we're going to do our best here. Okay, and then we're going to start here, swoop down a little bit, there. I'm going to come all the way up here like that, and then cut out the top end there. Yeah, that is looking good. So then we will have some retention screws here. Where's this guy? Gonna have them right here, here, and probably there. Yeah, that should work, I would think. Sweet. I will get this cut out, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, and we are back. As you can see, got this all cut out. What we're gonna finish now is drilling it and getting everything mounted up, and it should be about good to go. Okay, so let's go ahead and come in. This is just a deburr. Deburr? I don't know. Anyways, cleans the holes. That's important. Okay, that's done. Now, what we're gonna do here, we're just gonna go ahead and get this drilled out. Okay, and what I like to do is I like to actually give them a little punch, something that gives the drill bit to bite into. Last thing you want is for them to walk off and then make your hole look weird. Okay, and then another thing is we gotta get this guy mounted up the way we want it. You know what? Let's get the paddle on first. That way we can kind of adjust the height on that level 2 a little bit. But since we're doing that, we might as well get the retention bushings in. Okay.
Almost grabbed my drill there. Got 2 rail beads and they look the same, so.
Alright, let's test that. Maybe just a tad tight there. That's better, much better. All right, and then, you know, I want this to sit up just a hair higher like that. And that should give us enough room there. So we're gonna just go ahead and use two holes. I'm not gonna bother with 3. That's a little overkill in my opinion. But we do wanna add some sort of rubber bushing there. Looks like I got 2 that should work.
Good. It's about right on it. Okay.
Put that in. Now we gotta mount this guy. Alright, somewhere just like that. Alright, I like that. I think that is good. Grab my little punch here. Okay. Now drill these out. Okay, now that's going to mount up here. I actually have these extra long posts here that work perfect for this. That one might actually be too long. I don't know where that one came from. Nope, that's perfect. Okay.
There. And there.
Alright. And then I can go ahead and add. Now it actually comes with these. Obviously I don't make these. These are from Index Thermoplastics. I think Spetsgear makes them. It's a speed lock. It comes with this hardware here. I will use the male screws here. I don't use any of these except for this one and this one. I will use that on the front side. I don't use these. I just save them for something else. But I don't think they're long enough to be used with this. And another thing I will do is I will add a little bit of Loctite just to the ends of them. Not a whole lot, because sometimes people get the level 2 hood and they end up not liking it and they want to take it off. So I don't put a whole lot just to make it a little bit easier to take off. Doesn't take much anyways. And before I get it too tight, I will actually test it. Yeah, that looks good. Yep. Okay. Because if you over tighten these, it will not work correctly. But these are looking good. See, now it's getting a little finicky. So loosen these bottom ones a bit, because I think most of the pressure comes from these bottom ones on that activator system there. Yep. We're good. Okay, so then fold the strap back over. I want that to sit right about. You don't want to come too far down because it actually pulls the other side towards the holster. We want to have a nice relaxed flex to it. Not a whole lot, but just a little bit. So not there, probably right about there, I would think. Usually I like to square it up with the activator system down here. I think it adds a perfect amount of leverage. And where's my pencil? There it is. Okay, one more check before I drill. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. And the hardware I do use is here. I always Loctite this one just because it sees a lot of motion. And I'll show you what I mean here in a second. Okay, so I Loctite that screw because it's doing a lot of back and forth action. Another thing I like to do is kind of just bend the hood a little bit, square it out. That's better. Sweet. Yeah, that should clear a red dot that he has if he plans on running one down the road. And then with these hoods, I actually don't like to activate it like here. I feel like you don't get a good grip. I like to activate it over the top of it here, not on the top end here. Actually, the front end is where I get it. I like to wrap my thumb around, pull out, use my thumb to pull it out, and you get a proper grip versus coming here and then popping it out, and then you have a sloppy grip. So, but that's how I like to run it. But there it is, guys. That came out pretty killer. This can be swapped out for just about anything. Any most Safariland stuff, most G-code stuff. So yeah, awesome little holster. Again, this is kind of a big project. If you plan on making your own holsters for yourself, I would not take something on like this. I would do a few more basic jobs for yourself, and then I would take on something like this. This is what I would call an advanced build. But anyways, thanks guys. Appreciate the support. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.